Hello and welcome back. In this video we're going to look at how to draw this image of a juice box, as we can see here. So looking at the shape of the object, we can see it's based upon a rectangular prism. So that is to say, a rectangular top here that's been extruded down into a 3D shape like so. So like any of these exercises, we're going to begin by first of all just drawing in the angle that we want our prism to be angled at. So you can see it's quite shallow along here, so we can see quite a bit of the front face, but equally we can see a nice bit of the side face. So fairly even angle between our Y shape here. So I'm going to just start off by drawing in my first line like that. I don't need to keep it exactly the same as the original, but if I can keep it close enough, that's okay. So there's our first edge like so. I'm going to just turn the page to draw in our second edge like so, moving my whole hand as one unit. So rather than trying to just use your wrist where you'll get a long curve, the whole hand moves in one go like so. So there's our leading edges like so. Once you have your initial Y, then we can start capturing the proportions of the object. So the length of each of our various edges. So we can see the length here like that. He's roughly this length here like so. This is the same for the thing, so it's not as long for the back of the object, so there is roughly the back of the object like so, and we can just draw our parallel lines and see what that looks like. If you find that it's a bit too long or it's a bit too short, don't worry about that. You can always go back and adjust it afterwards. That looks fairly okay to me, but if you, as I said, if you find that it's too long or too short, don't be frightened just to go back. It is only a sketch, so that's where the freedom to go back over something comes in. So we're doing our vertical lines like so, and now we're going to capture the length of or the height of the object. So it's quite high, so I'm going to come down quite a good bit down here, and let's go like that. In fact, I could probably come down a little bit more with that. I'm just going to come down a bit more just to capture the height of the object. So there's the height of our juice box. That's a little bit better. So there's the rough proportions. As you can see, it's angled a little bit more, but I'm okay with that. I'm just trying to capture the general shape of the object. So that's the general idea of it. We can see that we have a little tab over here, so where there's a fold where the top of the piece might be made. So I'm going to just capture that by just drawing in an angle like so, and then coming at it from the opposite angle here. So again, just adjusting my page to suit me. And you can see this doesn't quite meet up. They don't meet up at the exact point. There's a small little flat here, so I'm going to put in that little flat, and there's our like that. You can also see that you can see a definite fold here where the cardboard might be folded during the manufacturing process. So I'm going to just draw my vertical line here. There's my vertical there, and I'm going to capture a parallel line there. So he's like so. So that is our general shape like that. I'm also going to add in my little kind of light line there for my fold line, like so. So that's the general shape. We also have our little straw here. So we have an entire section on how to draw cylinders, but for the moment I'm just going to draw in a small little kind of flat kind of egg shape like so, and I'm going to come off at an angle, any angle at all. And then I'm just going to angle it like so and draw in another elliptical shape here like that, just 90 degrees to it. So we're not too worried about that. If you want to skip on ahead, you can look at the videos on the ellipse. But that's the general shape of our object. All we need to do now is to heavy it in. So I'm going to use my fine liner pen here to darken in what I'm keeping. And I'll just give you a little tip when it comes to using our fine liner. In our object here, if you have any edges where there is a round, so we can see here there's a small little rounding in the corner there, that you can capture that round by not necessarily joining up all your edges, but putting in a double line. So you can see there's one line, then I just come back over and I just do a second line like so, just right beside it, and that has the effect of giving us this impression that there's a rounding of the corners. So there is like so. Same thing applies there along our top edge like that. So that just makes it look like the corner is slightly rounded off, and you don't have to connect all your points. We'll just then fill in the rest of the object. And if you want, what you can do is you can actually go over the edges slightly darker. If you want to make them a bit thicker, it actually will have the effect of making the piece seem a bit grounded, particularly on the base of the object. If you wanted to, what you can do is you can go over it a second time, and it makes it look like there's a small little shadow underneath the base. And we can see for this portion here, because there's actual material there, we're going to just do a double pass on that and make it a bit thicker. So, and then this is nice and light. So by varying our line thicknesses here, we're saying different things. We're saying either that there's a corner, or we're saying that there's thickness to the material. And we don't have to put in every single detail. What we're trying to do is give an impression. So an impression of thickness, an impression of a corner. Like so. And there is the rough shape of our object. What we'll do is we'll just put in this extra shading on the base just to show you what I mean. In fact, I'm going to just maybe use a different pen for that, which might make it a little bit easier just to draw it in a bit heavier. Just as a heavier, more inky pen. So you can see just putting in a darker line for the base. It doesn't have to be too heavy or anything like that at all, just enough to give it an impression that the base itself is also rounded, because the light will get trapped there. But that is our juice box then, like what